Alrighty, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I wasn't sure if it was afternoon or evening. My sleep schedule has been messed up again lately. But anyways, friends, good to see you guys. Let's see who we have here today so far. We have Sleeveless. Sleeveless saying good afternoon. What's up? What's up, Mark? Saying hey, Andrew. There's been a trend towards catfight. Yeah, so we're going to have to watch this one pretty closely. I do think that this storm does have a pretty good chance at becoming something pretty significant. No way. Let's hop you guys over here. Apparently the Hurricane Center now has this thing expected to be Cat 4. That is crazy. Yeah, look at that. So latest forecast has a thing on the 27th, right around 2 p.m., having this thing a Cat 4 of 130 sustained, gusting up to 160 miles an hour. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, let's see if the thing parks between Jamaica, Haiti, Jamaica. Yeah, that would be kind of a bad scenario. Let's hope that does not happen. What's up, Sega? Good to see ya. What's up, Cole? What's up, Chris? What's up, Was Blind? What's up, Acadian? Let's see here. What's up, Crystal? Saying today's my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you. Cole says Cat 4, dang. Yeah, that's actually new. I did not even notice that. But the Hurricane Center now has the system expected to become a Cat 4, which is crazy. Here, let's bring you guys over to the Hurricane Center. Actually, I'm going to bring it over here. Cole, those cruise ships, they know to go around these storms. They don't just go into them. So they do know to go around them, which is good. But not a whole lot has happened in terms of strength. Oh my gosh, the movement's 2 miles an hour right now. I think it's barely moving. But not a lot has happened with the strength of the storm as of right now since yesterday. Still sustained at 50 miles an hour. Central load did go down a little bit. We're now at 1,000 millibars. So not a whole lot has changed. It's still a little bit disorganized. Here, let's take a peek at the satellite view. You know what, though? It is convecting pretty hard here. You can see there's definitely a lot of convection. It actually looks like we might have a little bit of upper level wind shear. You can kind of see some of those winds coming in from the left hand side. Seems like it might be dealing with a little bit of wind shear here, but it's convecting pretty heavily. I mean, it's definitely trying to, get its act together. You can see there's, several bands of deep convection. It all needs to go towards the center there. But wow, yeah, it's definitely picked up quite a bit in terms of convection, anyways, since last time we looked at it. Here, let's bring you guys back over here, though. So let's look at some of these watches and stuff that they have out here. So we did have tropical storm watches and hurricane watches. Those are still in effect. Haiti has a hurricane watch in effect for the southern side of the island here in general. So Haiti does have a little bit of hurricane watches, basically saying hurricane conditions are possible in the near future. So just continue to monitor it. Jamaica has tropical storm watches in effect here. So we'll have to watch out for that. So tropical storm watches for Jamaica, hurricane watches for southern Haiti here. No matter where it goes, it's going to be bad regardless. Yeah, there is a lot of support of eventually the system of eventually pulling kind of northeast in the later forecasts. But yeah, it's definitely very concerning, and we need to watch this thing very closely. Let's see. One HAFSB experimental model has 859. Does it? Do you know which run that was? Because we'll look at it. That's pretty crazy. Could you imagine all the seasickness? Yeah, that would be pretty rough. Those waves are going to probably be pretty nasty out there. What's up, Sonya? Good to see you, my friend. But yeah, here let's take a look at those rainfall potential. I know there's going to be a lot of rain. So they did change a little bit in the forecast here. You can see we do have, 6 to 8 inches of rainfall kind of in this medium shade of orange. That extends for a little bit of southern Haiti, a little bit of southern Dominican Republic. So yeah, 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. That equivalents to 150 to right around 200 millimeters of rainfall. So, quite a bit of rain. Definitely quite a bit of rain here. You can see off out in the waters, we do have this area where we could see 20 to 30 inches, but it's just all going to fall back into the ocean, so it's not a problem at all. But But that's crazy, though. There is still a little bit of low confidence because of the nature of the storm, and the fact that we still don't know fully where it's going to end up. That's still a really big problem. And the thing is that, a storm like this is very difficult to track because, it's barely moving. Like I said, it's only moving at 2 miles an hour right now. I mean, it's barely even moving. So, having a storm move that slow, a little wind gust could easily move the storm, to a totally different area. Now, there is a little bit more agreement that the system could actually go further west. I don't know if you guys remember, but a lot of the models had the thing kind of, mostly going out there towards like Haiti and the earlier point of view there. But it seems like we have a little bit more of a westerly trend. Seems like that's been kind of a common thing since the last couple of days. So we'll have to see, but still, there is a lot of models that eventually has the system probably pulling back up here. Here, let's actually pull up the models here. Oh my gosh, they're still literally all over the place. Here, look at this. Here's the main hurricane models. I mean, they are literally all over the place here, you can see. So here's the majority of them. You can see majority does have this system kind of moving to the northwest here over the next day or so, and then eventually kind of, moving further west, before some of the models actually has this thing kind of getting, kicked up by, or actually influenced by another frontal system coming through, which could allow the system to kind of steer its way up here to the northeast. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, there's just so much disagreement, in such a short period of time. Also the timing also the timing is very, very much unknown at this point as well because of the track, the unknowns and everything. So, well, it says potential to break many records. It could. I'm really concerned about that. What is it? The rapid intensification. Given the environment that the storm is in, I mean, it doesn't have much acting against it. That is something that I will say. Like right now, the fact that it's not moving is telling us that there's really not a lot of wind shear, at least horizontal wind shear. So, I mean, we have a little bit of upper level winds that's kind of, allowing the storm to not fully organize right now. But, with that being said, though, I mean, it's in an environment where there's not much wind shear. There's plenty enough warmth in the waters. I mean, those waters are 30 degrees Celsius out there, which is super, super warm here. Let's actually bring you guys over to that here. Here, we'll go ahead and bring y'all over to the sea surface temperatures here, which, I mean, yeah, they're super, super warm here. But yeah, I mean, you can see the waters down here. I mean, we're talking like 30 degrees Celsius waters, which is super, super warm still. And, some of the warmest waters in the Atlantic right now is actually where the system is at. So, that's definitely not going to be any problem for the storm. There's plenty enough heat in the water there. So between that, not much wind shear. There is plenty enough moisture as well. That's pretty much all that you need for a system to rapidly intensify. So that's kind of what we're a little bit worried about. Let's see here. Aqua says, I know it's too soon, but do we have any idea on where this is going? So we do have a little bit of an idea as of right now, but there still is a lot that we don't understand with the system. You can see the cone here is quite large. So the system is expected to kind of move northwest over the next little bit, very, very slowly, and eventually kind of pull further west, as you can see. Just a reminder that the center of the storm can go anywhere in this cone here. And this is throughout the next, several days. Now, what happens beyond this point is heavily unknown. I mean, that's still a little bit too far out here. I mean, there's just so much we don't understand with this system still. I mean, it's crazy because, the system's barely moving. So, that makes it a little bit hard for models to kind of pick up on, where the system ultimately is going to end up going here. So, what's up, Savannah? Good to see ya. Could the storm impact the USA? So there's not a whole lot of support right now suggesting this thing will be a problem for the United States. So I'm not gonna, we're not gonna worry about that right now. Right now we just need to focus on the, the Caribbean and stuff like that here. Let's actually bring up some of these models here. Actually, we're gonna hop y'all over here to that. There's not a lot of guidance right now that suggests any problems for the U.S. And even if there was, it's way too far out to tell, given that the whole cone for like the next 5 days, essentially, just keeps it in pretty much one area. If I hop back here real quick, you can see this is for the next 5 days. I mean, it doesn't move very much in the next 5 days. It's stalling pretty heavily. So yeah, anything beyond that point is very unknown. let's see, upper level winds is expected to relax in the next 24 to 48 hours. Gotcha. Yeah, so we could actually see that on the satellite we were just looking at here. If we pull up the sat view, you can see actually some of that upper level wind shear. If you look, you can see some of that air coming to the east there, from the west to the east. You can see it's kind of, allowing the storm to be disorganized. But yeah, that eventually will calm down quite a bit. Let's see here. Model shows possibly a Cat 5. We'll have to see. I mean, like I mentioned, given the environment that it's in, I would not be surprised if something, crazy develops out of the system here. I mean, just given the environment, little to no wind shear in the future cast, warm enough waters, plenty enough moisture. I mean, it's all there. All right, let's look at the HWRF here to start things off here. So this is the 12 UTC model run here. 12 UTC, okay, has the system kind of going out there by Jamaica, you can see. So there's Jamaica right here. This is bottom of Cuba, and then this is Haiti. So HWRF has the system kind of squeezing by, kind of going right between. So that would be pretty intense if that did happen, because then that would cause significant issues for not only Jamaica but also Haiti and Cuba, which is why you guys really need to watch this one pretty closely. Let's see here. Here's the infrared view. Yeah, has it becoming quite a beast, overall. But I want you guys to remember this is just one model. This is just, one take on the storm. Remember, there's a lot of other models that kind of disagree heavily. Here, let's actually look at some of those other ones. We'll pull up the HMON. So this is the 12 UTC run here from HMON. Suggests the storm really picking up some strength here. This one actually has it going a lot further south and west of Jamaica. So there's Jamaica. I mean, you can already see there's a huge difference between these two models. The HWRF has the system, go right between, Cuba, Jamaica, and Haiti as well. And now in terms of the HMON, it actually has it going further southwest, so that more of a westerly track, but still has that system rapidly exploding into a major hurricane here. So yeah, definitely would not be surprised if this thing does have a shot at Cat 5. I'm being honest with you guys. You guys know I would never lie to you guys about the weather, but I would not be surprised, just given the environment here. Here's HAFS-A, shows rapid strengthening. It looks like it really starts to pick up right around the 25th. So next couple days, once that wind shear starts to die down. But yeah, this model has the system going west a bit, south of Jamaica there. Has that pressure getting down into the lower 900 millibars, which, yeah, that would be in Cat 5 realm. This is 150 knots here. Thank you, George. Appreciate it for subscribing. Yeah, so there's a little marker you guys can't see, but it does show 149 knots. That would be, I want to say, right around 170 miles an hour sustained. I can't do the conversion right off the top of my head, but I do know knots are under miles an hour. So, but anyways, here, let's look at the HFSB. Some people were saying that this one is way more significant. Holy cow. Yeah, HFSB has the system getting down into the 880 millibar range. Yikes. Yeah, if that occurred, that would actually be pretty crazy. But, like I mentioned, given the environment, given the environment and stuff, I mean, there's little to no limitations here. There's nothing really holding back the system here. Which, makes this thing really concerning. And the fact that it's, moving very slow as it is, it's harder for models to pick up on it and stuff, to see where it could go. So, there's still a huge unknown factor of where the thing's going to end up. And considering how strong it could be, it just makes it pretty concerning. But, yeah, that's HFSB. Let's see. Somebody said that the model was showing, even lower. Let's see, HFSB. This is the 0 UTC run, has it, yeah, getting down in the 800 millibar range. That's crazy. But, Like I mentioned, I would not be surprised if it does have a shot at getting to Cat 5. I mean, just given the environment it's going to be in. Yeah, so the United States doesn't need to worry about this storm right now. There is currently no guidance suggesting this thing becoming an issue for the United States anywhere. This is mostly a problem for the Caribbean right now. So it is, that's where the main concern is in the Caribbean. So we'll focus on that area. But yeah, there's really no guidance right now that suggests this thing being a problem for anywhere in the U.S. Like Florida, as of right now, not an issue. But obviously, if it does materialize and it does become more of a concern for the U.S., we'll definitely let you guys know. We'll keep you guys up to date with everything going on here. But yeah, definitely is a bit concerning. I mean, this is throughout the next 5 days, and once you push beyond that 5-day margin, the inaccuracies really go up. Because a lot of things can change in 5 days. But yeah, we'll have to look at it. Let's see. Thing is that all the south of the cone wind shear. So, wait, hold on. The thing is, they all are south of the cone and the wind shear. So we doing no, sadly. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what you meant by that. But the wind shear is expected to calm down a little bit. Yeah, that's why it's not really picking off too crazy right now. Here, which we'll bring you guys back over here. So there's the satellite view again. So that's really the reason why it's not, really cranking right now, is because we do have a little bit of wind shear. You can see some of that wind coming going to the east here. You can see it. I mean, obviously the convection is being influenced by that wind shear, but eventually that is going to calm down. I mean, it's still convecting pretty heavily right now, but it's just sitting there. I mean, it's not even moving, which is crazy. That's the part that's really the most concerning here. Basically the entire Caribbean is watching. Yeah, pretty much a good chunk of it. I really want my folks out there in Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba. Let's see here. The Cayman Islands. Yeah, definitely need you guys to be watching out for this as well. Even the Bahamas. Yeah, Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic even. Mostly those areas here really, really need to watch this system. I mean, obviously, we all need to monitor this guy and see where it goes, because this thing's just kind of a sitting duck right now. For the next 5 days. I mean, you can just see. I mean, it doesn't move that much in 5 days. It doesn't move that much because there's really not much steering current, really moving the system. So if you're wondering, the yellow here, this is where the estimated tropical storm force winds are at right now. So, you can see that. I mean, obviously right now it's not an issue for anybody at the moment, in the current sense, right now. It's not over anywhere right now. But, given the Hurricane Center's cone, I mean, you can see we are likely going to be pulling a little bit north over the next little bit and then shifting a bit west. It seems like I was mentioning, that westerly shift is a bit, kind of a new trend here that's been kind of popping up. Let's see. Christopher says the fact that it's moving so slow, there's enough ocean heat content to sustain itself for days. Yeah, and because it's not moving that much, that tells us that there's not going to be much wind shear, at least horizontal wind shear. Which is pretty crazy. So it's going to be sitting over really warm waters. Once again, 30 degrees Celsius waters. It's going to be sitting over that. Little to no wind shear influence, in the future cast, as well as, still a plentiful amount of moisture. And those are really the three main ingredients you need for tropical systems here. Let's hop back to models real quickly. I'll show you guys the humidity factor here. So this is 700 to 300 millibar or HPA relative humidity here. And, I mean, you can see, there's a lot of moisture over Central America and Northern South America right now. So that's basically just going to continually fuel the system with moisture. This is the GFS's take here, the 12 UTC run here. Has a bit of a different, outcome as some of the hurricane models. Global models are not always the best for, tracking hurricanes. The hurricane models are more finely tuned for specifically hurricanes, while global models like to, look at the big picture of everything going on. So it can sometimes miss key details and, on the micro scale of things. But yeah, no, GFS, I mean, you can see plentiful amount of moisture. Euro here, ECMWF. Still plenty of full amount of moisture here. You can see, a little bit of dry air off to the west, but you can see it just kind of sucks up a lot of a lot of moisture-filled air from Central America near like Panama. And that's just going to continue fueling. Even the Euro model has the system getting down into the 930 millibar range, 920s there for a minute. Wow. Yep, and that Euro has it going right over Jamaica and slamming right into Cuba, and then of course going through the Bahamas, and then shooting off to the northeast here. But at that point, this is 200 hours out, which is kind of pushing it. You guys know me; I don't like to look too far in the models. A lot of people like to hype forecast and look 300 hours out, which is ridiculous. But yeah, no, honestly, you got to keep it within 150 to 200 hours max. I honestly don't even like to look at 200. About a 52 or 150 to 180 is typically where I like to look in the extended range. So, Chris says, hey Andrew, how's it going? What's up? Hope you're doing good. Melissa reminds me of Hurricane Ophelia when she came close to the Carolinas and sat there for a few days, moved back to sea. Gotcha. I don't even remember that storm. I do remember Harvey. Harvey did that. Went right up to Texas's coast and kind of sat there, dumped all kinds of problems. Rain for the Houston area. That's another problem. With this system, if it sits over an area for so long, it's just going to continually dump rain after rain after rain. Over these areas, which could be a significant flooding problem here. Hopping back over to the Hopping back over here to the Hurricane Centers or WPC Weather Prediction Centers. Rainfall outlook here. You can see southern Dominican Republic, southern Haiti, eastern Jamaica. We could see 6 to 8 inches. That was actually a little bit higher yesterday. It was 8 to 12, but there's so much uncertainty in the track right now that the totals are still not really fully known at the moment, but we definitely could be dealing with quite a bit of rainfall. Let's see here. Scott says, hi, Andrew, and everyone else. What's up, man? Good to see ya. Let's see here. This could be an insane hurricane. Yeah. Given the environment, that's what makes me the most concerned is the fact that there's really not going to be a whole lot holding the system back, from rapidly blowing up into a major hurricane. It's crazy how quick the forecast has changed, from the Hurricane Center. Yesterday, they were only showing Cat 1 max. Today, they started showing Category 3. Now they're showing Cat 4. And given all this guidance that we have with these models, it really would not surprise me if this thing has a run at a Cat 5. HWRF has the system getting down. I want you to note the track as well. This is very different than a lot of these other models. But HWRF has the system getting down into the 940 millibar range, which that's pretty low. That's very low. HMON has the system getting down into the 930 millibar range. So there's I know it's kind of hard to see, but that's Jamaica. And this one has the system going farther west of Jamaica, kind of south and west of Jamaica, which would allow it to probably pick up some more strength, being away from those islands like that. But yeah, totally different track than HWRF, but down in the 930s there. HAFSA has that system getting down into like the lower 900 millibar range, like 903. Can't take one model specifically, but pretty crazy though that we're getting that. And then of course you have the really crazy model, the HAFSB, showing 884 millibars there. That is just wow. Yeah, quite a beast. But this one also has it going south of Jamaica. It seems like it really seems like there's a lot of support lately with the models suggesting that the system will keep on going maybe a little bit southwest of Jamaica. So we'll see what happens. What's up, Kim? Good to see ya. Let's see here. Will your trip to Gulf Shores be okay next week? Where's Gulf Shores at? I'm not familiar here. Let me bring this up here real fast. Oh, this is Alabama. Oh yeah, you should be fine. Yeah, Gulf Shores. Like I mentioned, there's currently no threat for the United States. With this system right now. There's no guidance suggesting that this storm will be a problem for the U.S. At least throughout the next 7 days. This is not going to be an issue for us. So, no, honestly, you should be absolutely fine. But we'll definitely continue monitoring it. This is what it's going to do over the next 5 days. It's just going to be kind of in this body of water. Not much steering current. Keeping that system pretty stationary. Really not moving that much overall. Let's see, come to Tampa. No, this would be catastrophic if it came near Tampa. That would not be good. No, I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. Tampa, that's a big city. That would be terrible. So no, as much as I love, tropical weather, I would love a good hurricane, but a storm like this is different. Let's see here. Team says, thank you so much. Yeah, no problem, dude. Got you. Let's see. Why the eye doesn't look small? What? On the model here? Let's see. No, the eye is pretty darn small, according to the HAFSB here. I mean, it's pretty tiny. I mean, there's Jamaica, though, for reference. I mean, Jamaica. I don't even know how wide Jamaica is, but it is a pretty tiny little eye there. Very symmetrical according to the model. But remember, we can't take one model too seriously. So, yeah. Here, let's hop back to the... back over here for a minute. I do want to show you guys the hurricane models again here. So, this is the spaghetti. Here's the spaghetti models. Once again, these are literally all over the place here. Literally like a plate full of spaghetti right now. You can see system is... going to be gradually kind of moving either northwest or westward over the next little bit. There's so much uncertainty, even in the short range. It's crazy. A slow-moving storm like this, it's just models have a really hard time picking up on where it's going to go because there's not much really influencing. I mean, a little gust of wind could throw the storm a completely different way. Not literally, but, But anyways, yeah, I mean, shows it pretty crazy. I mean, it's just a huge spread. You got some of the models having it further go west. It seems like that's a new trend. Actually, majority of models do have the system kind of eventually going west a little bit. And the extended range eventually has it pulling to the northeast. A couple of models, anyway. Some models just end there because, anything further than that's just, a little bit inaccurate. A little bit too far out to tell. But anyways, so that's that. We'll look at the intensity guidance here. Whoa. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Wow. Here's the intensity guidance here showing... I can't even fit all of it on the screen. That's crazy. Okay, so this is Melissa's intensity guidance here. You can see, over the next 48 hours, probably not going to see a whole lot with the system. I mean, it's probably not going to be anything super crazy over the next 48 hours. Just tropical storm, like I said, we're doing a little bit of upper level wind shear. That's going to subside in about 24 to 48 hours. Beyond that point, 3 to 5 day margin, that's where we'll really start to pick up in terms of strength here. So you can see, by the time pretty much later this weekend, we'll likely have a pretty nasty storm on our hands there. But, you can see here in the intensity guidance, we do have gradual development. You have a couple models that just go nuts, with the wind speeds here. But if you're looking at the average here, you can see models have this thing, getting up well into major hurricane status. A good chunk of the models do suggest that. So here, I wonder if this cam, actually that did not do a thing. Okay. That's... Majority of models do have the system becoming a major hurricane here, and that's kind of around 84 to further 84 hours out or greater. Yeah, like I mentioned, right as we hit day 4 and 5, those are probably going to be when the system's really going to pick up quite a bit. It looked like it was the 25th is when the system would likely really start picking up in strength here. Now, here's a few other models This is the GPS ensembles. So you can see these ones, go west a bit as well, for at least the start. And then eventually you can see that a good grouping of the members have the thing eventually kind of crossing back over, which, that would mean a landfall for Cuba. So that could be a big issue. That's what I'm saying. We need everybody to watch this. Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas need to watch this thing very, very closely. And honestly, if wouldn't hurt to start preparing for the system. Make sure you have enough water, make sure you have enough non-perishable foods and stuff like that. Just there still is a lot of uncertainty of where it's going to end up, but it would not hurt for some of those areas to just start keeping an eye on it really closely and maybe start slowly getting things together just in case if things come to the worst here. So that's the GPS. The GFS here, which I'll show you guys that one now. The GFS ensembles, you can see, had the system kind of doing relatively similar, stuff, having it going right out towards Jamaica there, eastern Cuba, eventually kind of crossing right over the, right over the southern Bahamas. So that's what I'm saying. I do need my folks in the Bahamas here to, to also be watching this here pretty closely as well. Let me actually hop over radar here. I do have radar in the left panel. I want to see. I don't think this program goes over there to the Caribbean. Pretty sure it doesn't. Yeah, no, darn. I was gonna say we'll have to look at it, but if it becomes anywhere near a radar, we'll definitely look at it though. Anyways, but yeah, so like I mentioned, quite a big change in the last update. So we'll keep you guys updated. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'm not going to hold you to it, but just consider it. That way we can keep you guys in the loop. We'll keep you guys up to date with everything going on here. But, yeah, it's definitely a little bit concerning. Not much limitations to the storm here. Really going to prevent it from, just strengthening a whole lot. That's what I'm kind of worried about is that, eventually the upper level winds are going to die out. It's going to be over really warm waters, tons of moisture, and, it's just, yeah, no wind shear, really warm waters, and tons of moisture. So that's just really going to allow for the system to pick up quite a bit. Let's see here. Is it too early to know if this will be going into Gulf? Yeah, it's too early to tell. But more than likely, the extended range guidance has the system eventually pulling northeast from another frontal system that comes through the U.S. Could kind of catch it and take it far away from the U.S. So that could actually block it from the U.S. But it's not guaranteed right now. But we'll see what happens. Let's see here. So I thought if a storm has got strong, it moves north. Why is it going to the east at some point? That's not true. So if a storm does get strong, it's influenced by other air masses and other systems around it. So just because it's getting stronger doesn't mean it'll automatically go north. No. But yeah, it's just influenced on other systems and other air masses around it. Let's see. Kim says, "Hey Andrew, thanks for doing this." Yeah, no problem. Those spaghetti models look like they could potentially stream across the North Atlantic. Possibly. That's really pushing it, though, into the far extended range. That's like 180 to 200 hours out, which, we talked about. Not really the most accurate time frame to look at. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Right now, we really need to watch these areas here. Anything beyond this point is still pretty iffy of what it could do. Let's see. One of the experimental HFSB shows around 200 to 205 knots, which is 230 to 240, which would be a pressure of sub 860. Okay, well, you got to remember that's like worst case scenario. That is pretty crazy though. Yeah, if all models started showing that, then I'd be a little concerned. But given it's just one model and that not all models suggest that, yeah. So I wouldn't count on it getting anywhere near that low, but 800s, we'll have to see. Like I said, there's not much holding it back, so anything's really possible. And that's kind of the bad thing. The bad part is that there's just so much that's not, or basically there's just a lot of things that's not holding this thing back from becoming a big problem. Mark says, is this going to run for major? Yeah, I mean, it's already expected to be a Cat 4 from the Hurricane Center. Yeah, they have it on the 27th at 2 p.m. Cat 4, 130 sustained, gusting up to 160 miles an hour. So that's by the afternoon of the 27th. Yeah, it's right around the 25th we were talking about. Yeah, right around like the later 25th. That's when we're going to probably really start to see the system pick up quite a bit of strength here. So, yeah, I mean, Justin, it is, but it's heavily unlikely. See, you can't think of it as like as that. You got to like kind of get the common denominator in the models, right? So you got to throw out what they all disagree on. You got to keep what they all agree on, right? So if one model is showing 860 or whatever you're talking about, and none of the other models show that, that is a very unlikely scenario. Now, that's what I'm saying. If all models start really pointing towards that, which I highly doubt it, but you never know, then yeah. Let's see. Wouldn't be surprised if this got below 890. We'll have to see. I mean, given the environment, I mean, like I mentioned, anything's possible. You know, it's crazy. You know, I mean, right now it's fighting a little bit of upper level winds. You can see over here, but that'll clear up in the next 2 days. Yeah, I mean, it's just not having much hold it back. Let's see. I know it's going to be crazy for everyone down there. Hope they've evacuated or already prepared. Yeah, I mean, there's no evacuations yet because there's so much uncertainty of where it's going to go. But there is watches in place, and the people in the watches do need to start preparing here. Here, let me bring this up for you guys here. So, like I mentioned, we do have hurricane watches in effect for southern Haiti here. You can see. So southern Haiti, we do have the pink there. So that is hurricane watches. So hurricane conditions possible. And then, of course, we have the tropical storm watches for Jamaica as well. Let's see here. I hear this is going to be a Sandy 2.0. No. Whoever you're hearing that from that's wrong. Yeah, no. There's no way of telling that far out. I mean, the next 5 days is, you know, that's about as far as we can really look, you know, somewhat accurately. And you can see it is nowhere near the northeast. So, no. Wherever you heard that, that's not right. Almost all the hurricane models show Category 5. The HFS model has been very consistent. Yeah, I mean, they've definitely been significantly uptrending lately. So, yeah. But, I mean, like I mentioned, you know, given the environment it's in, are you really surprised? I mean, it's barely moving. There's no wind shear acting against it, really. I mean, there is a little bit now, but in the future there won't be. It's just a breeding ground for these storms. But anyways, but yeah, so that's that, y'all. You know, that's kind of what we're looking at. So, you know, if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask here. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I do want to look at the radar real quickly, composite real fast. I don't think we have really much going on in the U.S. right now. We do have a little bit of precip out by, like, Michigan here. We'll bring up the radar out there. I just want to have the radar overlay for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, yeah, let us know, please. And like I said, we're here for you. We want to make sure you guys are staying safe and, you know, being weather aware and stuff. Let's see here. Can the storm die off? Probably not, no. I mean, given the environment that it's in, yeah, there's nothing that's going to prevent it from developing. I mean, it's going to happen at this point, 100%. You know, like I mentioned, I mentioned this a lot, the environment that it's in, you know, little to no wind shear, you know, really, really warm waters and tons of moisture. That's everything you need. But only thing that's not going to happen 100% is that it won't go backwards to the south. Yeah, you know, more than likely the system is going to just go north. I mean, at least from the assessments now, the system's going to pull up to the north a little bit here. And then, of course, go west a little bit. And then eventually in the long term, you know, like I said, there's some support that has the system eventually kind of going northeast here. We'll go and bring up the spaghetti models here. But just look how much spread there is. It's crazy. You know, where it's at now, you can see some models have it going northeast, some models have it going west. There's just huge spread right now. A lot of uncertainty. Let's see. Is this kind of how Andrew was last minute? Changed directions into Florida? No. No, Andrew kind of went, I believe it went through the Bahamas. It went kind of this way and then hit Miami and then continued, and then it went into Louisiana. No, this does not relate to Andrew, really. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, you can see just all the spread here. But, you know, once again, if you guys know anybody out here, if you know anybody, or if you're out there, you know, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, I mean, yeah, Cuba, Haiti, the Bahamas, yeah, these areas have got to watch this closely. Got to watch this, you know, very, very closely here. So we'll see what happens. And once again, the latest cone from the Hurricane Center, they do have the system becoming a Cat 4 on the 27th here. So that is that. So we'll definitely be watching that. And of course, you know, anything in the extended range right now is just, you know, too far out to really tell here. Now, I do want to hop you guys back over here to the rainfall outlook here real fast to kind of discuss that. Hold on. So basically, like I mentioned, there's still a lot of uncertainty in regards to the amount of accumulation we could see with the rainfall. So, you know, you can see the southern Dominican Republic, you know, southern Haiti, we do have about 6 to 8 inches expected here. Jamaica, possibly, you know, that as well. You know, right around 6 to 8 inches. Let's see here. Sorry, somebody texted me. I had to write them back here. But anyways. So, but yeah, definitely a lot of rain on the table. You know, with a slow-moving system like that, you know, it's gonna really dump a lot of rain here. I mean, especially the closer it gets to these areas, you know, it's really gonna be it could be a really big problem for you know, for rainfall and such. So let's see here. Tanya says, "Can we see an eye wall replacement cycle?" Is that what you mean? So we'll have to we'll have to see. I mean, obviously it hasn't developed an eye yet. But, I mean, yeah, it's pretty common, you know, with storms like that. Do I think this will be a Cat 5? I think it has a run for its money. I do. You know, I honestly, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Yes, I do think it could easily become a Cat 5. You know, this is kind of the dream environment for a tropical system, you know, being wind shearless for the most part, very, very hot oceanic surface temperatures, as well as plentiful amount of moisture. You know, all of that is what gives you a big, strong hurricane. And the fact that it's not moving either, it's just kind of sitting over the waters, and it's just kind of picking up strength. You know what I'm saying? So that's you know, that's what's pretty concerning about this system here. Let's actually hop you guys back over to models here. We're gonna dive into more of these models with y'all. Hop over to HWRF here. Let me zoom out maybe just a little bit. So actually, I'll bring it over here just a little bit. There we go. Bring it down so you guys can see it a little bit better. Did I see the one model where it had 225? I did not, but I heard about it. Anyways, but yeah, here's HWRF. This is the 12 UTC. Hopefully, we'll get the 18 Zulu coming in. We'll do another evening. We'll do another update this evening too, whenever new models and stuff like that come out. So we'll give you guys some more updates on it too. But yeah, I mean, gradual, you know, strengthening with the system. Right as we approach the 25th is when the system really starts to pick up. You know, HWRF has the system, you know, kind of squeezing between Jamaica, southern Cuba, and, you know, of course, a little bit of western Haiti here. Obviously, there's a lot of unknown factor here. You know, don't trust this track right now because this is like the only model, or one of the only models that suggests this. Because then you got HMON, which has the system, you know, picking up strength. And, you know, there's Jamaica right there. You know, has the system kind of passing south and eventually west here. So Yeah, that's that. Now, in terms of the HAFSA, this is where things get really kind of crazy. These models are pretty nuts. HAFSA, there's Jamaica. It's kind of hard to see, but that's Jamaica. System goes south of Jamaica, really explodes in the strength. That's where the model ends here. Like I mentioned, anything beyond this point with the models, it is just too early to tell. It's just too early to tell. We do not know what's going to happen. Past 5 days from now, and for the next 5 days, it's just going to stay in the Caribbean here. So, extended ranges. I mean, even the short range is so unknown right now. The extended range is, once again, I mean, also really unknown right now as well. HAFSB, this model has a system getting down into 800 millibar range, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that has those winds, I mean, really, really getting quite strong. This shows, what does that show? 173 knots, according to HFSB. So what would that be in miles an hour? Let's see. Let me do a conversion. 173 knots to miles per hour. So that would be 200 miles an hour, according to the HFSB. But remember, this is just one model. But it's pretty crazy to see a model get that strong with the system. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. My girlfriend is flying to Cancun next weekend for a wedding. Should she watch this closely? Thanks. Yeah, of course, no problem. Well, congrats. But let me look on. Let me actually look. I don't remember exactly where Cancun's at. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's out here by the Yucatan. Okay. So Cancun, I mean, yeah, we'll have to watch it. We'll have to see what happens. Right now, there's no danger. There's really not any models that suggest it going out over there. For the next 5 days, it's staying right here. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to watch it, but, I wouldn't cancel any plans or anything like that right now because of it. So just continue what you're doing. Just still plan to go. Right now, it's not an issue, but if it does become an issue, we'll continue to give you guys updates. So just stay tuned, for our updates, and we'll keep you updated. Here for the next several days, I do plan on doing, multiple streams per day, just to help people out, just to help get you guys weather aware and prepared and stuff like that. So, yeah, absolutely. But we're here for you guys. I know it's a little concerning, yes, but. We'll keep you guys updated. We'll let you know, when you need to prepare, what you need to do, and stuff like that. So, like I mentioned, right now, the areas that really need to start preparing is Jamaica and Haiti. Southern Haiti, we do have that, hurricane watch in effect there. It seems like models are shifting a little bit further west, so, we'll see if that actually materializes into a warning, but still wouldn't be a bad idea to start preparing for it. Jamaica really needs to start preparing for the system. Right now, it's tropical storm watches. Don't be surprised that, if trends continue, this could be upgraded to a hurricane watch, so we'll have to see what happens with it. There's just a lot of uncertainty there. So, yeah, but I would go ahead and say, Jamaica does need to start watching this really closely, does need to start preparing. Haiti, Cuba, honestly, central eastern Cuba should definitely, maybe start getting a couple things together just to be safe. Remember, things can change. In the Bahamas, no action needed right now, but would heavily consider watching this thing pretty closely. There's a lot of uncertainty still with the system, especially, even in the short range, it's pretty crazy. But, in the long range, it's very uncertain. And even the short range, because of its very slow movement. Like I said, right now it's only moving at 2 miles an hour. So, it's barely moving. It's pretty much stationary at the current moment. And it's going to really just be pretty slow for the next few days. But, yeah, those guys, y'all out there, definitely need to start preparing for it. Make sure you have plenty enough water. Oh, do y'all hear that? There's a warning. Oh, wait, it's a EAS test going off. Okay. Can you guys hear it? Oh. Oh, hold on. There it goes.
This is also a test of the same system or specific area message encoder. The same system will alert only the county or counties that
Yeah, there goes my radio.
These tests are conducted each Wednesday between 11 a.m. and noon, and again between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. unless severe weather threatens. In this case, the test will be conducted the next clear weather day. This concludes the weekly test. We now return to regular programming.
All right. Well, no, that was not a smoke alarm. It was my my weather radio went off for a weekly test. They do it every Wednesday. They do it in the morning and in the afternoon or evening. Anyways, but back to what we were saying. But yeah, so like I mentioned, Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, we definitely need to watch out for that. For you guys out there. Definitely is going to be a bit of a concern. Once again, rainfall totals, it's too early to tell. But, we could be talking a significant amount of water here for some of these areas here. Right now the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, has it getting down to, 6 to 8 inches there, 6 to 8 inches of rainfall for like the Southern Dominican Republic, Southern Haiti, Eastern Jamaica, and whatnot. So, once again, this is still pretty low confidence. You can see here from the, from the WPC, just given the uncertainty in the track. The track will tell everything. But, anyways, let's see. You figured when you heard the voices, yeah, it was just somebody from the Weather Service doing the weekly test. So, let's see here. You had fire alerts over here in Augusta area today. Oh, did you? I got you. Anyways. Hey, let's hop back over here to the models real quickly. So I do want to take a moment to talk about something real quickly with you guys. We do have some severe weather coming up for the U.S. A little bit of a detour for a second from the tropics. But if we hop over here to the categorical outlook here, tomorrow we do have a level 1 threat for a little bit of Oklahoma, a little bit of Texas, New Mexico, Wyoming. Did I really just call Colorado Wyoming? Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. Southern Colorado, let's see, portions of New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma here. Now, on day 3, we actually have a level 2 threat, so we'll probably do some coverage here on day 3. What would that be? That'd be on Friday, I believe. Yeah, Friday. We have a slight risk out there by San Angelo, Midland, Texas area, so we'll have to watch it. There's no breakdown right now for tornadoes or anything like that, so. I don't think we have a tornado. Oh, we do, actually. Tomorrow we have a little 2% tornado threat here for southwest Oklahoma. Depending on what this does, we might do coverage tomorrow. We'll just have to see what happens. But, yeah, we do have a little tornado threat tomorrow. Let's see, winds and hail. Yep, so those are all going to be a bit of a concern here coming up. For Thursday and Friday here, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, just wanted to mention that with you guys real quickly, that we'll probably need to do some severe weather coverage coming up. But anyways, yeah, guys, that's pretty much what's going on here. Like I said, we'll hop on again later on tonight. We'll probably go live right around 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern. That way we'll be there for the new update because the Hurricane Center updates at 11 o'clock p.m. So if you guys are going to be up at that time. If you guys are going to be up at that time, just, be sure to tune in. That way we can keep you guys up to date with everything. Like I said, we'll have new models out. We'll have new forecasts from the Hurricane Center out. Pretty much just everything will be new. So we'll have a lot more information for you guys, hopefully. Hopefully we'll have some more agreement in the models, later on this evening. But we'll definitely, keep you guys in the loop here with everything. But, if you guys have any questions before I head off here, just let us know. Go ahead and throw them down in the comments. If you guys want me to check on anything, if y'all want me to look at something again, then I got you. Could I check the SPC fire outlook real quickly? Yes, I could. They have it on here. I don't remember if they did it on this program or not. I don't think they do. Here, let me pull this back up over here. Let me just bring up the SPC. Why not? We'll just bring it up from the actual website from SPC. Here we go. Okay, so we do have elevated risk today for, actually, believe it or not, some of the Appalachian Mountains here. Let's see, western North Carolina, portion of western South Carolina, a little bit of east, kind of northeastern Georgia, a little bit of Panhandle, Texas, western Oklahoma. Tomorrow, got another little elevated fire risk for some of the Appalachian Mountains here. Once again, kind of central western North Carolina, a little bit of south central Virginia as well. So that's for the next 2 days. Then, of course, once again, today, we don't have any type of severe weather going on, thankfully. We just have a little bit of thunderstorm potential, a few booms of thunder, South Florida, the southwest, northeast, a little bit of couple storms possible. Tomorrow, once again, that level 1 threat kind of looks like a heart, doesn't it? Kind of looks like a little heart. But yeah, a little risk for severe weather tomorrow, which we might cover, depends. Or I might just do updates on the tropics again. I don't know. It just depends on how severe that becomes. And then, of course, we do have Friday. Yeah, Friday we have that slight risk here, which we'll have to look out there for. So, anyways, Sonia says, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, no problem. You're very welcome. You guys are very welcome. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to look at anything real quickly, if there's any more questions you guys have, please don't hesitate to ask. Like I said, we're here for you. We want to keep you guys safe. We want to keep you guys weather aware. And, we're here for you guys always. And, but yeah, we'll do some coverage. You guys know for a fact, whenever there's a hurricane, if it becomes a problem for, if it makes landfall, which at some point it probably will, which we just don't know we're at yet. But, wherever this system ends up, we'll definitely do coverage on it. We'll definitely be covering it. So don't you worry about that. Yeah, I think we got a busy week ahead of us here, so we'll make sure to, really pump out that content for you guys and just keep you guys safe and weather aware, okay? So, alrighty, everybody. Well, you guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And like I said, we'll hop back on at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern, right around then. That way we'll have a new Hurricane Center outlook. We'll have new models and all that stuff. But we'll probably do that on YouTube Shorts. Still my same YouTube channel, but just on YouTube Shorts because it's quick and easy for me to set up. So we'll do that later tonight. Alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And we'll see you guys here later on. Alright, everybody. Thanks for joining. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.